Welcome back to Essential Dialogues. Today we're diving into something that's been generating a lot of buzz lately. That's right, the expansion of cryptocurrency offerings on popular trading platforms.
Yeah, definitely a trend that's got people talking. And, sparking a lot of important conversations about the future of finance and what it all means.
Exactly. Like imagine, just checking your stocks on Robinhood and all of a sudden seeing Dogecoin right there next to Apple and Amazon. It's a pretty wild shift in the financial landscape. And it begs the question, what does this mean for everyday investors like you, like people who aren't necessarily, crypto experts?
Totally. It's definitely a sign that cryptocurrency is becoming more mainstream, more accessible, which is exciting. But, like with anything new, there are also some potential risks that we need to, unpack carefully.
For sure, for sure. So let's start with, just the basics. Robinhood has significantly expanded its cryptocurrency offerings recently. They've added Solana, Cardano, XRP, and even the meme coin Pepe, which brings their total to 19 different digital assets. So what's driving this sudden surge in offerings? Is it just about, keeping up with the Joneses? Or was there something more to it?
Well, obviously, the recent surge in cryptocurrency values is a major factor. Platforms like Robinhood, they're businesses at the end of the day. And they're responding to the increased demand from traders, people who want a piece of the action. They also want to, stay ahead of the curve, be seen as innovative leaders in the, fintech space.
Right. So it's a mix of market forces and strategic positioning. But let's dig a little deeper into, what it means for everyday investors. Like, what are the potential benefits and risks of this increased access to cryptocurrencies?
Well, one of the biggest benefits, I think, is diversification. Robinhood's making it easier for anyone to invest in a wider range of cryptocurrencies, and that can help, spread risk.
Yeah.
And potentially increase returns.
Okay, that makes sense. But isn't there a risk that this ease of access could lead to, impulsive decisions,
Yeah.
especially with such a volatile asset class? I mean, we're talking about meme coins here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a valid concern. And it just highlights the importance of investor education. Just because it's easy to buy something doesn't mean it's a wise investment. So, individuals need to do their research, understand the risks involved, and only invest what they can afford to lose.
So it's like user-friendliness is a double-edged sword. It can empower investors, but it can also expose them to greater risk if they're not careful.
Exactly.
So it seems like the regulatory landscape is also a major factor here. This whole crypto craze is still relatively new, and the rules of the game are still being written. So how might future regulations impact these investments, especially in light of, recent political developments?
That's a great point, and one that I think often gets overlooked. People get caught up in the excitement of potential profits. But the expansion of crypto offerings on platforms like Robinhood, it definitely raises questions about the role of government oversight and the need for, clear guidelines to protect investors and to ensure market stability.
Right. And speaking of political developments, there's been a lot of talk about the connection between Donald Trump's presidential election win and the recent surge in Bitcoin's value. It just crossed $93,000 for the first time ever. So is this just speculation, or is there something more to it?
Well, Trump has been pretty vocal about his support for cryptocurrency during his campaign. He even promised to establish a strategic Bitcoin stockpile and to support the growth of, the U.S. Bitcoin mining industry. So these statements, combined with, his appointments of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to key positions, have been interpreted by some as signals of a more crypto-friendly regulatory environment, under his administration.
Hold on. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. What exactly are their roles in all of this, and why is it causing such a stir in the crypto market?
Okay, so Trump created this new Department of Government Efficiency, which has been nicknamed DOGE.
Yeah.
Like the meme coin. And he's appointed Musk and Ramaswamy to lead it.
That's interesting, to say the least.
It is. Now, the department's actual scope and purpose are still a bit unclear. But the choice of name and the individuals involved have led many to speculate about its potential impact on cryptocurrency regulation.
So it's all about reading between the lines and trying to anticipate how these political moves might translate into actual policies that could affect the crypto market.
Exactly.
And the market is definitely reacting. We've seen a surge in the value of not just Bitcoin, but other cryptocurrencies as well, particularly Dogecoin. It's more than quadrupled in value in the past month.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It is, but it's also a little bit concerning, right? I mean, are we just setting ourselves up for another bubble?
It's definitely a valid concern, the lack of clarity around regulation and the potential for politically driven market manipulation are definitely risks to consider.
Welcome back to Central Dialogues. We're continuing our exploration of cryptocurrency, and how it's becoming increasingly intertwined with mainstream finance.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the trends we're seeing today, they could have huge impacts down the line. They have the potential to completely reshape the financial landscape. And it's important to understand both the opportunities and the challenges that, come with that.
Right. And in the first part of our deep dive, we talked about the expansion of crypto offerings
Mm,
on platforms like Robinhood
yeah.
and what that means for everyday investors. But, what does this increased accessibility mean for the future of finance as a whole? Is this a step towards a more inclusive and, democratic financial system? Or could it lead to, further instability and inequality?
Well, that's a really complex question,
Hmm.
and there's no easy answer. But on the one hand, the rise of cryptocurrency and decentralized finance, or DeFi, as it's often called, has the potential to really empower individuals and level the playing field by providing access to financial services that were previously out of reach for a lot of people.
So it's about, breaking down the traditional barriers to entry
Yeah,
and giving everyone a chance to participate in the global economy.
exactly. Imagine a world where you don't need a bank account
Right.
or a credit card to
Right.
send money, receive payments, or invest in assets. That's the promise of DeFi. And it's a vision that's particularly appealing to people who, haven't been well served by the current financial system.
I mean, that's a really powerful idea. But isn't there a risk that this could also exacerbate existing inequalities? What about, those who lack access to technology
Mm,
or financial literacy? I mean, wouldn't they be left behind?
yeah, that's a valid concern for sure. And it's something that we need to address proactively. If we really want to create a more inclusive financial system, we need to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to participate,
Hmm.
regardless of their background or circumstances.
So it's not just about providing access to technology,
Yeah.
but also about, providing education
Hmm.
and support to help people understand how to use it safely and responsibly.
Exactly. We need to invest in financial literacy programs, develop, user-friendly interfaces, and create a regulatory environment that fosters innovation while also protecting consumers.
Okay, so we've talked about democratization and inclusion, but what about the potential for disruption? How could the rise of crypto and DeFi disrupt the traditional financial system, and what are the potential consequences?
Well, for starters, it challenges the role of banks and other financial intermediaries. If people can easily buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies on their phones, do they even need traditional bank accounts anymore?
That's a great question. And what about the potential impact on monetary policy and the stability of national currencies? Could we see a world where cryptocurrencies replace fiat currencies as the primary medium of exchange?
It's certainly possible, though it's still too early to say for sure. Some countries are already experimenting with central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, which are basically digital versions of their national currencies. This could be a way for governments to, maintain control over monetary policy while also embracing the benefits of blockchain technology.
So it's a balancing act between innovation and regulation, between embracing the potential of crypto while also mitigating the risks.
Exactly. And that's why we're seeing such a wide range of regulatory approaches around the world. Some countries are embracing crypto, others are trying to ban it, and a lot are still trying to figure out how to regulate it effectively.
It sounds like we're in for a period of significant change and uncertainty.
We are. The future of finance is being written right now, and it's a story that's unfolding in real time.
So what does all of this mean for our listeners? What should they be thinking about, as they navigate this new world of crypto and DeFi?
I think the most important thing is to stay informed, do your research,
Right.
and approach this space with, a healthy dose of skepticism and caution.
So don't just jump on the bandwagon because everyone else is doing it.
Right. Take the time to understand the technology, the risks involved, and the potential implications for, your own personal financial situation.
And don't forget about the importance of diversification, spreading your investments across different asset classes, including crypto, can help manage risk and potentially enhance returns.
Absolutely. It's also crucial to remember that this is still a relatively new and volatile market. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and be prepared for significant fluctuations in value.
This has been a fascinating discussion. Thank you for sharing your insights and expertise.
It's my pleasure. It's a topic that I'm really passionate about. And I think it's important for everyone to have at least a basic understanding of, these trends.
Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground in the second part of our deep dive into the world of crypto. We've explored the potential for democratization and disruption, the challenges of regulation, and the importance of informed decision-making. But there's still more to come. In the final part of our series, we'll shift our focus to you, the listeners, and discuss how you can navigate this, exciting but complex landscape. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Essential Dialogues. We spent the last two parts really diving deep into this world of cryptocurrency. It's exciting, sometimes a little confusing, but we've covered everything from Robinhood's expanding offerings to, the potential impact of Donald Trump's presidency. And there's just so much to unpack.
Absolutely. And as we go into this final part of our deep dive, I want to kind of shift our focus to you, the listener. What does all this mean for you? Like, practically speaking, how can you navigate all of this and make, good decisions about crypto?
Right? That's a really good question. It's easy to get caught up in the hype. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, understanding your own financial goals.
Yeah.
And how much risk you're comfortable with.
Exactly. And that starts with education. Don't just, rely on social media or what your friends are telling you. Take some time to really understand how it all works. Like,
Right.
What is cryptocurrency really? How does blockchain technology work? And, what are the different types of digital assets that are out there?
Yeah. And there's so many resources available now. Like, you can take online courses, read books, heck, even listen to podcasts like this one. Don't be afraid to ask questions and look for, reliable sources and information.
Exactly. And once you have a basic understanding, start thinking about, your own financial goals. What are you hoping to achieve with your investments? Are you looking for short-term gains or long-term growth? Are you comfortable with, high risk, high reward investments? Or do you prefer to play it a little safer?
Yeah, that's such a key point. Knowing how much risk you're comfortable with is so important, especially with something as volatile as crypto.
Absolutely. And it's also important to remember that diversification is key. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread your investments across different asset classes, crypto stocks, bonds, even real estate.
And on top of all of that, the crypto world is constantly changing. So staying informed is really important. Keep up with the news, regulatory changes, new technologies.
Exactly. Subscribing to newsletters, following industry experts on social media, and yeah, listening to podcasts like this one can all help you stay ahead of the curve.
Well, this has been a fantastic conversation. Really appreciate you taking the time to share your expertise with us.
My pleasure. It's something I'm really passionate about. And I think it's important for everyone to understand, at least the basics of this technology
Yeah.
because it's really transformative.
Absolutely. So for our listeners out there, stay curious, stay informed, and approach the crypto market with a balanced perspective. The future of finance is literally being shaped right now, and cryptocurrency is a huge part of that.
For sure. It's an exciting time to be paying attention, whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out.
Couldn't agree more. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of cryptocurrency. Hopefully you found this episode insightful and engaging. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Essential Dialogues podcast for more in-depth discussions on, all sorts of topics that we think are important. Thanks for listening.